I discover the wheel and watch the buildings go by. You talk a little soft, turn off the radio. I just wanna hear all the past times, the rushed hours and the endless lives. Don't become a burden, say the word and be free. You will find a great weight lifting, easing your mind, a great weight lifting. Just leave it behind, great weight lifting, and you will find a great weight lifting. It's been a lonely winter, hibernating away. You need a little sunlight on that face. How long can you stay in the darkness, the dust round the empty nest? You could make your way out if you lay down the load. You will find a great weight lifting, easing your mind, a great weight lifting. Leave it behind, a great weight lifting. You will find a great weight lifting.
Oh, what a great joy to be with you all today, on the day I'm ordained as a minister. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for your love and your support. My mom is here. My husband is here. My children and their significant others, my brothers, my sisters-in-law, my uncle, my aunt, my cousins, and my very dear friends from all over the place. My father also, who died a long time ago, is here in my heart, and in a way, in the hearts of all of you. And my All Souls supporters, my incredible colleagues, our devoted trustees, and all of you who are a part of this community. You could all be doing so many other things right now, especially in New York City, and you chose to be here with us. You're choosing to be in this community, believing in what we do here at All Souls and how we go about nourishing our lives and bringing that nourishment to the world. I've been experiencing the congregation from up here in the chancel for over a decade now. And as I sit here as the service is about to begin, anticipating being in community with all of you and the experience of it, often what goes through my head is the Talking Heads song lyrics from Once in a Lifetime. A 1981 song, highly praised, from their album Remain in Light. The song opens, and you may find yourself living in a shotgun shack. And you may find yourself in another part of the world. And you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile. And you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife. And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? David Byrne's lyrics are a call to be fully present. As I take in this bright space, these windows, this light, this gorgeous, beautifully renovated sanctuary, thanks to all of you, and I begin to hear the prelude, I see you all, I think of you all who are here by live stream, imagining you at the other end of the camera, and I do ask myself, well, how did I get here? A life in congregational ministry feels like a surprise to me. In my 40s, I was thinking about a new career. I had a feeling that I wanted to spend my time differently, that I wanted to focus more on how we touch each other's lives, but I really didn't know how to go about it. My therapist was coaxing me to allow myself to imagine all the possibilities. She called it basic research. I had the urge, but I kept objecting because I was afraid to start from scratch with a whole new career. I told my therapist I didn't want to just be getting the hang of a new profession at the age of 60. She replied, well, hopefully you're going to turn 60 anyway, so what do you want to be doing? I'm turning 60 in January, so I guess I've arrived. The interconnected series of events that led to this day, for all of us, are unfathomable. There is no accounting for the hours and days of our lives that can fully explain how I got here or how you got here. But I do know that a fundamental reason for my ordination today is you, my congregation. Being ordained in a Unitarian Universalist congregation is unlike many other denominations. Because of our polity, it is you who have chosen to trust me along the way and to ordain me. And Galen has offered me his trust and his mentorship, and I am so deeply grateful to you all. What a privilege to be ordained by you and to serve in this beautiful house where you celebrate joyful events and where you seek refuge for your sorrow and your fear and your disappointment. Some of you are here from religious backgrounds that nurtured a yearning for spiritual community, and others are from backgrounds that made you skeptical about stepping in these doors. I'm challenged to make space for all the care I hope to offer you. Fortunately, my job description includes meditation and prayer and spiritual growth, continuous spiritual growth. My vows, my connection to teachers and mentors, many of whom are here, my time away in retreat, my time in stillness are integral to my role. And this is not just describing my interior journey. This is our experience together. You all, our community, has shaped me to serve as your minister, to keep growing. I have so many stories about how you've shaped me. One, a few years ago, I was leading a Caring Connections team meeting. Our Caring Connections team, thank you, many of you are here, is a group of volunteers who reach out to congregants who need some extra support by phone, by Zoom, in person, in the hospital. They're an important source of warmth in this group. Anyway, I arrived at our meeting with an organized agenda, ready to get down to business. Our longtime All Souls member, Peggy Montgomery, said to me in her loving teacher voice, which many of you know, "I have a request, dear. Can we please remember to start with a chalice lighting and opening words at these meetings?" I'll always be grateful for that reminder to respect the context of our connection, to intentionally create space for ourselves and for each other. My ministry has also been shaped by several years in hospital chaplaincy. Early on, I was a chaplain in the emergency department at a hospital in Harlem. It was pretty overwhelming. There was so much sensory input calling for my attention in the emergency room, and yet I still felt pretty useless in this really hectic, congested space. The ER really has no room for extras who aren't playing a role on the medical team, and I sensed that the staff there resented one more body who was just kind of in the way, and I didn't blame them. I didn't think I could help the patients that much because my training is in spiritual care, and what I've been trained to do is to ask open questions, to sit quietly by the bedside. Well, in the ER, there's no quiet, and there are definitely no bedsides. I remember one patient who was screaming and screaming and screaming. She was in pain from the withdrawal from an opioid addiction. And as chaotic and noisy as it is in the emergency department, the tension rises when there's someone screaming like that. I hunched over her, squeezed myself between the curtain and the gurney, and I used all my will and all my patience to calmly speak into her ear. I thought everyone around me, the staff and the patients, would all appreciate it if I could quiet her down. It felt like forever, but finally I got her to sleep. I felt pretty heroic. I went on to the next person, and within about 2 minutes, I saw a nurse rousing my patient roughly, either to give her medication or to ask her a question. I have no idea why. The screaming immediately resumed, and I was beside myself. I was furious, and I was deflated. After another few days in the ER, I concluded it was no place for chaplains. It was a place for medical problem solving, for medical professionals. So I met with my supervisor, and I explained that I had 2 floors, the emergency room and the ICU, and that I should just focus on the ICU where I could make a difference. My supervisor was Zen Buddhist priest Trudy Jimpu Hirsch, and she steered me right back into that mess, despite all my reasoning. She gave me no choice, literally. but she is so skillful. She asked me, if you could be a deity in the ER, who would you be? To me, it felt like a quandary of grandiosity, but I trusted Trudy, so I thought I'd try to think of something. And I came to see myself as Aura, the Titan god of breezes. I practiced imagining myself as a breeze in that space, a non-anxious presence with an open mind and an open heart to sense where to place my attention and to do it intentionally rather than focusing on the noisiest or most demanding, most urgent situation. I came to see that my role was actually very subtle, that if I treaded lightly, smiled with my eyes, listened kindly, spoke gently, I could create a ministry in the ER of a peaceful presence. I'm very grateful for that experience of connecting with people in the ER when they are in crisis. And I hope I can use that experience to offer you a peaceful presence in difficult times. In difficult times, we always ask ourselves, well, how did I get here? But in the less demanding times of our lives, in the everyday routine, we're often in perpetual motion. We're less self-aware. The song, Once in a Lifetime, asks the question, well, how did I get here? And it answers, letting the days go by, into the blue again, same as it ever was, same as it ever was. Reminding us how we fall into routine and lose track of the awe of being present. Reminding me of what my ministry means when it comes to our everyday lives. How I can be a peaceful presence to you as the days go by, as your lives unfold. Eugene Peterson, an American Presbyterian minister, theologian, and author, tells a story in his book, The Contemplative Pastor. He talked about a pastor who visited his home frequently when he was a teenager. Peterson described that after an awkward pause, each time the pastor would ask him, "And how are things with your soul today?" The word soul in all caps. Peterson didn't say much. He was pretty intimidated. I mean, who would? He writes, "The thoughts and experiences that filled my life seemed small potatoes when it came to that question. I knew, of course, that if I ever wanted to discuss matters of soul, I could go to him, but for everything else, I would probably do better with someone else, someone who wouldn't brush aside as worldly vanity what it felt like to get cut from the basketball varsity, someone who wouldn't pounce with scary intimations of hellfire on the thoughts I was having about Marnie Schmidt, the new girl from California." Peterson said that his pastor's lack of interest in his worldly life made him feel like most of his life was being lived at a sub-spiritual level. It's easy to feel that our everyday lives aren't worthy of spiritual attention, of prayer, of pastoral care. And these conversations should only be about crisis, or what we ironically call life events. But this is not true. I'm eager to engage with you in the question, how did I get here? What am I doing here? Not as a form of linear analysis of our histories, but as a way of pausing, of becoming intentional about what's next. Otherwise, we're on autopilot, moving from one reaction to the next reaction, same as it ever was, same as it ever was. So unless we ask, we will continue along as we have been, at least until we are jolted by an unexpected event. My ordination today is once in a lifetime. For all of us, it's once in a lifetime because we have created it together in fostering our connection to each other, our collective effort for peace in our hearts. Together, we bring peace and kindness to a world in dire need of it. We find ourselves in this beautiful house. We ask ourselves, well, how did we get here? We are here in the midst of an interdependent web of existence so intricate, so marvelous, so vast, that it is almost entirely a mystery to us. This is once in a lifetime. Peace be with you.